Okay, so Dexter, we're now going to do the arts participation thing, that A thing, and this is really talking about this project that it's been going on quite a while now. I think in months, hasn't it, on and off. The track that we're focusing on with you is the Misfits track. So, yeah, what did you set out to do with that track? How did it? What was the intention at the start?
Well, for me, mainly, I just wanted a complete song. Like, I've made quite a lot of just little guitar parts and recorded ideas and stuff down. But because I can't sing, I've never made a full song to completion. So I really just wanted to set out and put one of my guitar ideas forward, and work with Luke just to create a finished product, really.
So it was you and Luke collabing on that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he's a singer, right?
Yeah, so I did the guitar and drums, well, playing the Apple drums basically just for now.
Yeah.
But I did like the guitar parts, and sort of went to Luke with a bit of an idea, and like he did like the main lyrics, but I sort of tried to put like say, oh, maybe try this or try that, but obviously not sing myself.
Yeah.
And yeah, we performed it live a couple times, and yeah.
Where did you do it live?
We were supporting a gig at the old bus depot.
Oh, okay.
On one of their nights there, yeah.
Right. I didn't even. I mean, I was kind of aware that stuff was going on. Did you do the Canal House thing? Or was it
No.
Where did you record it all then? Is it different places? Some place?
So I've got like a mini setup at home, like Logic and like Focusrite. So I just recorded my parts into there, and then
using an amp emulator for the guitar.
Yeah. I think I also I mic'd up an amp as well that I had. I think I can't really remember.
Right.
But then I sent it over to Luke, and he recorded the vocals. I'm guessing he's got a similar setup at his house.
So you weren't actually in the same room when you did it?
No,
was it bouncing backwards, forwards collab?
We've had we did went to a few practice rooms and stuff to like get a bit of a structure and sort of a lyrical melody, and then he went away and pretty much got the actual words down basically.
That's going back to what I was just saying about live, and when you go in, and so when you play it live, there's nowhere to hide. Do you know what I mean? And especially when you play it live in front of an audience. But just jamming live, stuff emerges. It's like just like what I was saying earlier about the track emerging in front of you.
Yeah.
When you've got that ability to jam something out, stuff happens that wouldn't necessarily do it. So I didn't realise.
I feel like if you're just by yourself, you can sort of get a bit of a fog by like you think you've created something really good, and then you'll go back and listen to it, and you're like, oh, it's not actually that great. Whereas when you're like live in a room of other people, it'll be like, oh, maybe try this or maybe try this, or it just sort of forces you to sort of be a bit better, I think.
Yeah, well, it's always bigger than the sum of the parts and I don't, it's very unusual to be able to really genuinely do all of it, really do all of it, and produce right from the ground up on your own. It's not until someone else comes in that it's like suddenly you start doing different things. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, we played it earlier, and it still needs a bass line, but obviously we've tarted it up a bit, and it's going to have some drums in. So, what do you think's gone well with it then?
I think the Luke's vocals have gone well. I quite like when before it was like mixed and stuff like that. There was a few like bits where it just sounded a bit sort of sharp, I guess, and I'm assuming it's just been slightly auto-tuned or compressed a little bit, maybe.
I don't know if I did auto-tune it. I'm not sure if I did. I might have.
Well,
I can't actually remember.
It sounds good anyway.
I might have picked the odd note out of it, and I don't tend to use auto-tune. I tend to pick a note and go, well, the performance is there, but let's just bring that one down, because No one ever hits a note
No.
flat, as you said.
Yeah.
No one ever hits a note. It's not quantized pitch. You know what I mean,
Yeah, well, it makes it sound a bit more human when it's like natural.
it might just be the compressor biting in and tidying it up.
Yeah,
so I don't,
maybe.
you know.
And I like the sort of guitar parts. I think I'm quite pleased with the riff that I did, and it fits well. I just like, the only thing I'd like is it just for it to be slightly louder, and then the one that's just a sort of constant chord, that would just be in more of a background, sort of hidden in the mix a little bit.
Yeah, you want the picking louder, right?
Yeah.
Anything you think you could have done better?
If I'd have had more time, I'd have perhaps liked to have put a small guitar solo in. Nothing too crazy, but just sort of, just a little something, just to sort of.
An anti-solo almost.
Yeah.
I did think in the middle, it's like that would take something could happen guitar-wise there or something. And so, what about kicking you on from here? Is anything that's kind of you taking from that to go onwards?
Well, from both creating the song and actually playing it live's kicked me on to sort of find like a proper band to join. And I've been in touch with some different ones, and I'm like in an audition and learning sort of the guitar parts for them now. So I really enjoyed that feeling of playing like original music live.
Great. And you've moved into town as well, which should make life easier.
Exactly, yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, good. So, Danny, you're going to talk about City as the track, isn't it? So, what did you intend to do? What was, obviously the project people got together, but what happened to bring that about?
So on the kind of first day, we did Zoom call. We were kind of brainstorming loads of ideas around. At one stage, we did say that we were going to go from 80 BPM to then a mad break, like drums breaks with like I don't know 160 BPM. We did decide in the end that would be too mental if it was ever played on the radio, because it's going from this nice chilled thing to then going crazy. So then they were saying about what inspires them. They spoke about how Nottingham City was, thriving with music back in the day, how it's slowly returning back to that. So then we were thinking, right, okay, old school, new school. There was 3 rappers on there, so they all did their first each. 2 of them were quite old school, and one of them was quite new. He's up and coming. So we had that kind of, old school, new school theme again. So then I gave them a really simple hip-hop beat to start writing on as I came up with ideas. I then did a mix between playing live as I'm coming up with the idea and going through thousands of bloody samples. I kind of try to get some soul kind of influences, so in the breaks between each verse you can hear like a soul-y vocal that's chopped up a bit.
Yeah.
I did use a
push.
Yeah, a push for the bass.
Yeah.
But I then decided to go back to a double bass when it breaks as a sample. What was really interesting though is when we did the vocal, so we recorded it in somewhere called Labyrinth Studio, because Truth has a wheelchair, so he can, it had to have.
I was down on one of those recorded sessions. I
Yeah,
think,
a lift. That's the word.
Lift, yeah.
To get
access,
to get him to there. We couldn't actually go into the studio bit because his chair couldn't fit through the door, so it was then trying to tell everyone to shut up, so we can get the perfect recording. What we did find is that there was at different times, whether the mic was improperly or not, there was a bit of kind of final crackling, and on the very start of the track there's like testing going, yeah. So I decided in the end to leave that in, because I thought that was quite interesting. what I also did is I told Amari to whisper. So at the start we go from kind of talking to whispering, like layered over vocals. What I found really nice, hopefully.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the kind of unique parts of it.
So what do you think went really, really well? I'm thinking about that track now because it's done and mixed. I've not dropped the final master out, but what are you thinking about that as working really well in that track now?
I think it's interesting the way I know no one's going to pick up on it, but I think it's interesting also the way the ad libs are done. So with Truth, it's very bare. And then in Maury it starts to pick up, start a few layered ad libs, but then with Ty, let's say he's talking about the local legends, and then it starts to go local healers in the background, but it's quite subtle, and the play on words are quite clever in the writing kind of aspect of that. But
Great.
yeah, I think that would be.
So I guess in terms of stuff that could have gone better, it's like, well, actually, that even the Crackly Mighty turned around to positive, so that's pretty special. What about kicking on from this then? Where's it? You know, where's this particular project going to kick you onto next? What are you taking out of it?
So that was my first time recording with live artists.
Really?
So I've now gone on to I'm working with loads of different singers, loads of different MCs, loads of different instrumentalists, and it's kind of just started the next step, I guess. It's also making me question whether I need a different alias for hip hop, whether I should go down that route. That was literally my first time I've ever touched hip hop, so I still don't know whether it's good for hip hop or if it's average, but yeah, I definitely have to keep on questioning myself whether I followed that route.
I guess it only comes important when you come to releasing stuff.
Yeah, exactly
right.
right.
Do you know what I mean? And then you've got to go, right, well, it's normally when you've got a bit of a following with something and you don't want to drag those fans into that or disappoint them because they're not, you know, they might not be prepped for that.
Yeah.
Or you're just going to be Daft Punk, obtuse and not let anyone know what you did ever. And make loads of stuff up. Okay, brilliant. So, Betsey, Train. Tell me that. You can't tell me that was just like, oh yeah, we just hoofed it. I just like, it just came out on the day. That's written already. That's got to have been written.
Yeah, no, it had. So I think when I saw the project, I was still at drama school. It was around like the February time, I think.
Yeah.
So I already kind of did have this song, which I was singing a lot in my breaks at school and just on the piano. And I think I wrote it last summer and then kind of just left it untouched. I wrote the melody, lyrics, chords, and it was like a very personal song. And I love playing it and singing it. So when I saw this project, I was like, oh, it's a good opportunity to, you know, record it, work with different people on it, produce it, and see how it can sound the other end. So I came down for one weekend, and I think it was in a day we kind of went to Labyrinth Studios, got the keys down, got the vocal down, and then it took a couple of takes, and we were just really trying to capture the vocals in the best way that we could. I think because they are so emotional and convey a lot of different things. So it was really cool to kind of give that the time that it needed. And Molly May, she was helping quite a lot as well.
Oh, was she? Okay.
Yeah, which was really cool. So it was kind of a day that we got the base of it down, and then through Zooms with Ben Hellens helping, he was kind of working out different drum patterns that could work, different layers, getting bass in, getting guitar in, and that's how it started to develop.
So Ben put the instrumentation behind it. So what did you record the vocal to first off? It wasn't just a click, was it? It was keyboards, right?
Keyboard, yeah.
So you recorded the
keys.
piano first, the keys first, with a click or whatever. So, and Molly was helping you helping you get to helping to express. I'm guessing. Yeah.
Yeah. I think because I hadn't kind of sung in a studio for a while, with doing the drama thing. So I think I was quite nervous, and because I mean, the vocal, how you kind of want to capture the vocal for this track, it's so you kind of want to hear every little bit in the voice with the tone. If I'm nervous, then you're gonna hear that quite clearly. So I think she was just kind of helping me really find my grounding in my body and to get rid of the tension. And then I think it was the third take, and that was like the one. As soon as I really relaxed.
Is that one take?
Yeah, I think it is.
No patching in from any of the other takes, comp-wise?
I think the chorus, they might have just reused the first one.
Right. But it's all as is pretty much. That's what happens. You know, that's it. I mean, when a song, when you know a song, and so if you're writing a song and you're sketching it out, then you're getting the vocals down early to build around it, and then the last thing you do is get your lead singer back in and go, I want 5 takes max, and you know, one of those is while we're lining the compressor up, maybe. Do you know what I mean? It's like, that's it. If it's not happening, then it's not happening. I mean, it's not like, no, you can't do it. It's like, well, look, get into character. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you know, it's not like, yeah, just produce it on spec. But it's just got to happen fairly quickly. I mean, it's just without thinking about it. So. And what about kicking on from here then, taking something out of that to where you're going?
I think, I mean, I've been working with Amelie, who's like a photographer, filmographer, who works at, I'm not from London, and we're going to kind of use this song and try and get some different shots to go towards music video. So some of the actors from the drama school, I've been in touch with them, and we're going to have a day kind of really getting the narrative of the song down, and creating some media for it, which is exciting.
Brilliant. So it's a relationship song. I've taken it. I was just absorbing it subconsciously, but yeah. What do you think went particularly well out of it?
I think listening to it today, it was really nice to hear just the whole song coming through the speakers, but I think vocally, actually, I have sang this song a couple of times and listened back to the different recordings, but this one, it does feel like a really good capture, which is really nice, because I think the lyrics are clear and the emotion in the voice supports that.
Yeah, it's not about clear lyrics. Sometimes the best songs you can't make out what people are saying. Sometimes that's like lets you make up your own imagination, which is like, it's like reading a book. It's the worst demon than anything you can portray with ketchup sauce or whatever on a film. I mean, it's like sometimes when you can't hear and it's a bit veiled. Sometimes the clarity works. It's none of that's important. What's important is like, do you know what I mean? It's the spine tingle test, and it's every time that track is like, whoa. Like I said, me and Harry looped that literally for an hour. The other night, we got back the other morning. Yeah, there's something really, really communicative in that. There's something quite special in there. So that's brilliant. I think that's all we need to do. I think we are done.